Weekly market forecasts are not for the sole purpose of just identifying next week's move, guys. We are taking advantage of this clear, sound mind without the noise of the markets to review what we see on the charts and basically plan and prepare for next week. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another weekly market forecast with me, Tremaine, and in today's one we're gonna be going through 4 different pairs: the DXY, Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss franc, and New Zealand dollar CAD. Getting into the DXY from a daily chart, guys, what we can observe here on a daily is this expanding structure that we identified over the course of last week. Now, what we do want to speak about is this same resistance area over here. So if we had a look at this market basically from a weekly time frame, what we would observe is this market that has impulsively come to the bottom, established support, established some resistance, created new lower lows, gave us lower highs, gave us higher lows, and then now we've recently broken these higher structures in form of an ascending structure. Now, where are we coming towards? We're coming towards this sell sensitive area over here, where we saw sellers jumping into the market and being able to send prices below previous support areas over there. So what we do understand that DXY from a daily perspective is approaching a sell sensitive area. So if we come to the most recent daily structure, we will observe obviously our expanding structure that we just spoke about just when we started the analysis. So we do see market creating this expanding structure. Now within this expanding structure, what we can identify is that we're at the third touch of this expanding structure. Where are we as well? We're at our resistance trend line as well. We are also additionally close to our sell sensitive area that we've identified from a higher time frame. Now, looking at things, guys, on the DXY, because we're in a sell sensitive area, we are gonna be long-term bearish on this market. Now, pay attention, I'm saying long-term bearish. Why? Because if we look at the structure here from a daily, guys, daily structure is still bullish. So if we look at the current trend, we do have some support from these structural areas over here. We see market establishing highs, establishing higher lows, new highs, new higher lows, new highs, new higher lows, and we have new highs in this case over here. So we do understand that from a daily perspective, guys, these are the support structures that are holding this market as a bullish market. And as long as prices have not broken and closed below these lows here, daily trend is still bullish. So what we are saying, guys, is that from a daily perspective, things on the DXY are still bullish. And as much as, yes, we have fulfilled our criteria of last week, and that is we wanted to see prices breaking and closing below our support structure before we conclude that the uptrend has been broken. As much as we've seen the current uptrend being violated, and we can start to expect that bearish momentum, because prices are still in a bullish rally from a daily, we can still expect the dollar index to violate our resistance areas maybe one more time, maybe then break back below structure and give us a higher selling opportunity. So guys, nonetheless, regardless of whether or not prices do come up and violate our resistance areas, I am going to be bearish over the course of next week, identifying that the dollar index is approaching a sell sensitive area and is in a higher time frame sell sensitive area. And regardless of whether or not prices give us our continuation from down low or up high, we are going to be looking for those sell biased setups. Guys, we're on a daily here on Aussie CAD, and what we can identify about this daily structure is that we have seen prices coming in from the top in these areas over here, establishing some resistance, then creating some support. New resistance, new support, equal highs, new lows, lower highs, new lower structures over there. So basically what we have, if we just focus on this piece of price action here, what we will notice is price violating some support structures and then obviously breaking back above. So we're identifying price from these resistance areas here, entering some sort of a corrective structure. Now, if we just take a moment and delete all of this action over here, what we will also see from a daily, if we just continue to look at the price action, is we do have lows, highs, new lower lows, and we have prices giving us new higher structure, breaking above our previous resistance areas over here. So we're trying to get context as to what structure is forming here. Is this a larger complex structure that we won't know which direction markets will follow through in, or is this a structure where we will still be able to isolate momentum within our range to identify a direction for our trading opportunities? So if we look at this most recent price action over here from a daily perspective, what we will see is markets coming down nice and correctively, establishing some support in this area here, giving us our sign of strength, and then correcting down towards the support structure. Now you guys will know from last week we've been bullish bias from these support structures over here, and we've seen that momentum pushing away from our support structures. Now if we go down to a 4-hourly chart, guys, what we will see is we will identify some nature of price action here on Aussie CAD. Now if we have a look at Aussie CAD from a 4-hourly perspective, guys, what we will see about this structure is some corrective price action that leads us to our support structures over here. And after we see this reaction from our support structures, what we then see is prices entering another corrective structure. So the momentum that we observed, that we expected to be violating our resistance trend lines and as well as this resistance trend line here, we have not been seen. So we've seen prices basically from the time we established these resistance areas over here, we entered a range, we violated the low of this range, we came back into this range, and we are currently still inside of this range over here. So guys, prices can remain indefinitely inside of that range unless we see a break above. Now because we have a higher time frame bullish bias on Aussie CAD for next week, guys, we will be looking for trading opportunities in both directions. So what we'll be looking for here on Aussie CAD is either for prices to come up to the top from these resistance areas, break above our previous range, and then obviously give us nature that confirms some bullish momentum from our previous resistance now turned into support. So we will either be looking for this bullish continuation of price action, considering that we are at higher time frame support structures. So bullish bias price action, guys, for some potential long-term opportunities here on Aussie CAD. But as well as that, guys, you guys can see that we are stuck within a range, and we do need to treat this range exactly like what it is. Look for selling probabilities from the high of our range, and obviously buying probabilities from the low of this range. So with that being said, guys, we can see that on the 4-hour we do have a beautiful ascending structure that does look like it can terminate at our third touch, or rather also at our resistance area in here, at this resistance area over here. So we can also come and create this third touch. So if price action does warrant us from this structural area here to begin to start looking for those selling opportunities, we will also allow ourselves to find and trade these sell biased setups that can and will form or might form at our resistance areas over here. So guys, if prices are impulsive and we do violate our structure and obviously provide bullish bias setups above our resistance area, we will be bullish. If we provide bearish bias setups below our resistance area, we will be bearish. So Aussie CAD, guys, opening ourselves up to trades in both directions. Jumping straight into Aussie Swiss franc on a 4-hour, guys, what we can see about structure here is we'll look at all of this price action here, and then we'll look at this price action here. So what we can see on our left hand side is obviously prices coming in from the top, establishing support, establishing resistance, entering some sort of a descending structure, popping to the top, giving us equal highs over here, giving us a new lower structure. We then see buyers now undoing that previous bearish move that we saw violating structure, prices coming back to retest our previous support structures where we sort of manipulated below, and thereafter we see some corrective price action also moving to the upside. So what I've just done is I've only highlighted the important pieces or the important elements of this price action. What we have is this piece, this descending structure that started from these resistance areas over here. So we do know that this is a sell sensitive area over here where we're seeing prices ascending towards. What we also see is prices, or rather is prices being in some sort of a big, larger corrective structure where we've seen indication of momentum gonna push to the upside, and now we're seeing very similar price action indicating that momentum can also push to the downside. So guys, that's exactly what we'll be doing on Aussie Swiss franc. We'll be trading the nature of the price action, identifying that price action right now is at a sell sensitive area. So at our resistance where we see this ascending structure starting, we are considering the fact that price is at that resistance. What we are also seeing from a 4-hour and as well as from a daily time frame is prices basically being in this uptrend, creating higher highs, higher lows. We find markets giving us equal lows. We then see prices failing to establish new highs in this area here, and now we are stuck at that resistance area. So we'll be using this support trend line to manage our bias here on Aussie Swiss franc on the 4-hour, and we will identify that when prices do break these support structures here and then provide to us obviously nature in price that confirms this bearish momentum, we will be looking for that downside continuation from Aussie Swiss franc. So 100% completely bearish bias on Aussie Swiss franc, guys, for the course of next week. Only looking for sell biased setups here. If we do see prices moving to the upside, I will allow the price action to just play out. I'm not looking for any bullish bias, guys. Only sell biases for Aussie Swiss franc over the course of next week. Jumping onto the 4-hour here on New Zealand dollar CAD, guys, what we can see about the nature of price action is price coming in from these resistance areas, pushing all the way to the downside, establishing some support, giving us some resistance, giving us some equal lows, giving us equal highs. We have higher lows, we have equal highs, we have equal lows over there, higher equal lows obviously, and then we obviously see prices pushing to the upside. What we've then seen in our most recent price action is this move to the downside that comes to our previous equal low area. What we've then seen from price action in and around this area is on the 4-hour most recent price action, guys, we've seen prices beginning to decelerate towards that equal low area. So we've seen prices entering some sort of a descending structure. We gave a nice double bottom structure, and now we're seeing a reversal to the upside. From where? From that higher time frame support structure over there. So now that we're seeing that prices are currently in this nice impulsive move, guys, on New Zealand dollar CAD, what we will be waiting for over the course of next week is for prices to then correct into our support structures over there, obviously giving us nature in price action that we can use for a nice potential bullish bias. So we will be waiting for some upside continuation on New Zealand dollar CAD, obviously considering that yes, we have seen this move back into our resistance areas from here. So we will be looking to manage any bullish bias that we do have in these areas until we get to these resistance areas over here. So these are the areas that we are going to be watching out for. We do know that on Aussie CAD, guys, we are both bullish bias and bearish bias as well. So if New Zealand dollar CAD decides to continue the momentum to the downside without giving us a sell biased entry, are we looking for a sell bias entry? Absolutely not. If we want to sell a CAD quote pair, what we can observe is structure on Aussie CAD that is warranting us, that is giving us a sell biased setup, allowing us permission to look for some sell bias setups here on Aussie CAD. So what we will be doing obviously is, you guys can see that we are going to be hedging some CAD strength by hedging, obviously looking for some sell bias and buy bias trading opportunities on Aussie CAD, but only buy bias opportunities on New Zealand dollar CAD. Just waiting for prices on the 4-hour to give us that continuation to the upside, looking to manage our full bias by the time we get to these resistance areas, of which when we get here guys, then we can manage to see if we do find another sell bias setup to continue this bearish momentum here that we have seen breaking back below our structure, and as well as giving us a sign of weakness by breaking below these support structures over here. So guys, this is our bias on New Zealand dollar CAD, and we have concluded and reached the end of this weekly market forecast. If you guys have enjoyed the value in this market forecast, definitely do drop a like. Otherwise, if it's your first time on the channel, subscribe so that you don't miss any of the future videos. This is Tremaine, your FX Chasers mentor. I will see you guys in the future videos. Thanks so much for watching until the end guys. Cheers.